I want to ask you some things regarding hiring processes, job description, and those kind of things, because a lot of people come up to me, and I'm sure they come up to you as well, saying that, well, I just applied for 1,000 jobs and they are asking for a CISSP and a OSCP and a GWASP, and I don't even have my college degree yet. So,
Mhm.
what should I do? What do you think is the biggest problem with this, and how do we fix it? I know this really depends on different realities, because when I was just a junior and trying to get my first opportunity, some companies were asking me to get CYSSP. And I used to say to them, I can't, because you have to have 5 years of experience or four if you have a security plus. So what do you mean? Should I get a CSSP? What's your take on that? What are we doing wrong?
Well, yeah, yeah. So I think the first thing you have to weed out the stuff that I don't mean this in a demeaning way or diminutive way,
Hmm.
but hiring managers often don't know what is required. They
Hmm.
just don't. And that's ignorance that you have to be willing to account for, because all of us don't know things about certain things, but
Hmm.
we are charged sometimes with the responsibility for handling stuff
Yeah.
that we don't know a lot about. So I prefer to attribute to ignorance before I attribute to malice.
Okay.
So I've seen the job postings. I know what they look like. Some of them are absurd.
Yeah.
Requiring things like CISSP for an entry level security position is silly.
Yeah.
Um, if a hiring manager doesn't know what it takes to get a CISSP, then it's their fault, but it's simple ignorance. They're not trying to gatekeep, they're not trying to keep people out, and they're not trying to make it more difficult. More than likely, they're just doing their best
Hmm.
and they don't understand. To fix that, so one of the things that we do to answer your original question, I do hire. So
Oh, okay.
deeply involved in the hiring process. I've been deeply involved in writing our job descriptions as well and
Hmm.
evaluating the requirements.
Yeah.
So I work directly with our director of hiring. So our we call her our manager of vibes. Yeah, she's awesome. She's worked with me over time to build job descriptions for the kinds of candidates that I'm looking for.
Hmm.
That way we avoid a lot of that, because I know what it takes to do this job
Yeah.
from doing it practically. I have no interest in raising a bar that I couldn't have met myself when I was entering into this industry. The other part of it, I think there's a lot of cost related barrier to entry that I'm not a huge fan of. Um, a lot of college students don't have the kinds of funds that they need to go after certifications that are so costly. I mean, I might have gotten OSCP sooner if I was working for an organization that could afford it, but I wasn't.
Hmm.
I don't think it's reasonable to put every job requirement or make every job requirement something that is cost barriered. So that's why I love and endorse, honestly, platforms like TryHackMe
Hmm.
and Hack the Box, because they're geared towards being available to people who don't have thousands of dollars to pay for a certification course.
Yeah.
Um, it has never been easier to get familiar with the actual hands-on keyboard techniques required in this job. So I love that. I look for that sort of thing. So when
Hmm.
I see resumes, there's some things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for real participation. I've seen on Twitter before people debating about whether or not you should put your TryHackMe rank or your TryHackMe score or whatever on
Yeah.
resumes. I will say first and foremost, I want to see that.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's TryHackMe and it's, you're not in the top whatever percent, tell me what modules you've completed, right? Tell me what you have gotten yourself exposed to
Hmm.
and you have worked on. I want to know that. I can work with that. One of the things that I talk about with our leadership a lot is how, to be a competitive organization in information security, you kind of have to be a world class training organization. You
Yeah.
have to be willing to bring people in and teach them how to do the job. And that's difficult because it's an investment.
Hmm.
And not all companies are financially geared to handle that kind of investment, but it is worthwhile.
Yeah.
I Everyone on our team, um, this is their first pen testing job. So we have a set of different backgrounds. We have one guy who worked with an MSP for a long time, so he has a technical background. We have a couple others who were just generally interested in security and pursued it. But through our hiring process and seeing what they cared about, what they had accomplished themselves outside of any degree program, outside of any work experience, I knew that with the right training and the right attention, the right team dynamic, we could make some killer pen testers. And that's exactly what we've done.
That's awesome. It's so awesome to hear you say that. My wife is a IT recruiter, so I totally get what you're saying. Sometimes, and she talks with me about it because she like receives a profile for a candidate, and she's saying, "Well, this is a job description for 3 different roles. How the heck am I supposed to get some person to fit within these descriptions?" And what I usually say to people that are actually trying to get into pen testing and trying to get their first opportunity is apply anyway. And like you said, everything you have done until this date, put it on your resume. Once again, I think it's a perspective thing. People that say that you shouldn't put your TryHackMe rank or Hack the Box rank on your resume, maybe they are already very well trained, they have many certifications, and they don't actually see the value on using those things now because they are on a different stage of their journey. I remember when I was starting, I had this thing on my mind that was, I need to get certificates, I need to get stuff, I need to do something. I have to do anything that will give me something that says security. Like, I have to become a security professional before I become a security professional, if you know what I mean. So I started to search. I did like a cybersecurity academy here in Portugal, and they gave us the vouchers to do a lot of certifications. I did the Security Plus, I did the CYSA Plus from CompTIA as well. TryHackMe didn't exist at the time, but Hack the Box existed, so I also had my rank up there. And I really think those things are useful for anyone that is actually trying to look at your resume and see, okay, what have you done? What do you know? Because as you said, if the company is willing to make an investment on you, and that's money, time, and a lot of effort to teach you this stuff, because this is not an easy field to learn, they will choose, and now you say me if I'm wrong, but I think they will choose those that are actually trying to do something and to get their hands dirty, if you know what I mean, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I can teach somebody how to pen test.
Yeah.
I can. What I cannot teach as easily is how to be a good teammate
Yeah.
and how to
Totally.
be passionate,
Yeah.
right?